To this video on chromosomes and some of the words we use to talk about chromosomes. Remember, you can pause the video at any time or rewatch if you need to. Okay, so here I have a picture and it has 2 chromosomes in it on each side. Now that might sound wrong because this obviously looks like smaller than this diagram over here, but in chromosomes, this can be kind of confusing. We count chromosomes by something called a centromere. So this is the first thing you need to write down, is the word centromere. The centromere is this little circle in the middle, or not quite the middle of the chromosome. And you'll see that over here, there is just one centromere in each of these X-shaped chromosomes. So both the left and the right side of this diagram represent 2 chromosomes. Over on the left, where we have just the one skinny chromosome in each, these are called unreplicated chromosomes. And what that means is that each chromosome on the left just has one copy of all the genes on this chromosome. Okay, so this is one chromosome, this is a second chromosome. During the cell cycle, which we're going to learn about in the next lesson, DNA needs to make a copy of itself. This is called replication. This is in preparation for the cell to split into 2 new cells. And then each of those cells it splits into is going to need a copy of the chromosome. So during the cell cycle, the chromosome will make a copy of itself attached to the same centromere. So over here, this is what's happened. On the right-hand side, these are replicated, or sometimes called duplicated chromosomes. Okay, so this chromosome on the left, the lighter colored one, has just made an exact copy. And so now these are 2 what's called chromatids, but they're part of the same chromosome. And each one has the same copies of the genes. So the genes over here are the same as the genes over here. Okay, so these are duplicated or replicated chromosomes. Each half is called a chromatid. Okay, so this half, for example, is a chromatid. And the 2 that match, the 2 that go together, are called sister chromatids. Okay, so this has 2 sister chromatids. This darker colored one has 2 sister chromatids. This is one chromosome. This is another chromosome. Okay. All right. So I want to also look at what is a chromosome. So remember, we have our double helix structure of DNA. Okay, there's a simplified drawing of DNA. DNA is tightly packed together, and it kind of bends up, gets squiggly into chromatin. Okay, so here's DNA. Here it's tightly packed into chromatin. Okay, and then all of that chromatin all bundled up is called a chromosome. Okay, if you took all the DNA from a cell in your body and stretch it out, it would be about 2 meters in length, just from one cell. So one skin cell from your body, all the DNA in there, stretched out into its just single double helix would be about 2 meters. So it really gets packed up into really tightly in this chromatin and then into the chromosome. There's a lot of words in this unit that begin with C, which is why we're spending some time going over them right now. Okay. An important thing to remember, especially as we get into different types of cell division, is we count chromosomes by centromeres. So both diagrams above, okay, both this one and this one, show 2 chromosomes. Okay. So if we're counting by the centromeres, this 1, 2 chromosomes, but over here, also just 2 chromosomes. Okay. All right, let's flip it over and look at karyotypes. So a karyotype is a fancy word for basically a picture or an individual set of chromosomes. So an individual's, like one person or one dog, set of chromosomes. Okay. Humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Okay, so this is a human karyotype. This is a person, don't know who, they're a picture of all of their chromosomes. So humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes. This means that we have 46 chromosomes. Remember, we count by their centromeres in total. Okay, so we each have 2 copies of chromosome 1. One comes from our biological mom, one comes from our biological dad. Okay, so 2 copies of 1, 2 copies of 2, 2 copies of 3, all the way down to 22. And then we have a special set of chromosomes, which is made up of X's and Y's. That's called our sex chromosomes. Okay, so up here, this top half of the page represents unreplicated chromosomes. Okay, so this is just our chromosome 1 from mom, or our chromosome 1 from dad. Okay. Underneath, you have a set of duplicated chromosomes. So here we have also 2 chromosome 1s, okay, and also 2 chromosome 2s, but you can see that these chromosomes have undergone replication or made a copy of themselves. Okay, so it's important to note that, let's write it over here, both diagrams have 46 chromosomes. Wow, that one's messy. Sorry. Both diagrams have 46 chromosomes. So chromosomes that are numbered 1 to 22 are called autosomal. Okay, these chromosomes have nothing to do with your biological sex. And X/Y are sex chromosomes. Okay, typically 2 X chromosomes is female and an XY is biologically male. So the Y chromosome would control for things like having more testosterone or other things that we would typically associate with being male, like facial hair. However, it's never that simple in biology. So about 3 in 1,000 people have something other than these. These people could be intersex, which means they have a different combination and show different sex characteristics. So they might have XY chromosomes, but could appear female, or they could have something like XXY, which would usually appear female. So it's not as simple as just XX is female, XY is male, but we're going to simplify for the sake of this class. Okay, so X and Y are called sex chromosomes, and they typically determine your biological sex. Okay, now one more word to know is that the two chromosomes that are the same type of chromosome, so for example, here you have your two copies of chromosome 3, one from bio mom, one from bio dad. We would call these homologous chromosomes. So the prefix homo means same. So homologous chromosomes are the two copies that you have of the same number of chromosome. Okay, so here, these are homologous chromosomes. Down here, your duplicated chromosomes would also be the two copies you have. So these are homologous chromosomes. Okay, I hope that made sense and you have a better understanding of what those words mean. If you have any questions, you can find me in class or send me a message on Teams. Have an excellent day.